Welcome to part 3, upper bound of L. In this section, we're going to talk about how the upper bound of the L parameter greatly influences the trajectory of the curve. So we're going to replicate our analysis on the second wave of cases in Australia, and we're going to use June 1st through August 1st as our training set. The bounds for L are right here. We use the very last known value on August 1st as the minimum L, as usual, and a very high number, such as 300,000 for the maximum. Let's go ahead and graph this, and we can see the results over here. So if we're just looking at the graph, the results for this particular area on this time frame look poor. The orange line is very far from the blue line, but on August 1st, it's very difficult to tell what will happen in the future, and it very well reasonably could have followed the orange line, but just did not do so in this particular case. But what I want to talk about in this section is really how this upper bound really has a large influence on how the coronavirus case curve or predicted curve will turn out. So right now it's set at 300,000, and if you notice, the last value on August 1st is under 20,000, so it's much, much higher, and that's how I usually set it. That's how I've been setting it thus far, is to pick a very large number, much greater, to give it lots of wiggle room to figure out that upper bound. Now, just to show you the influence that this maximum value has, we can change it to a lower number, and before we do that, take note that it found the upper bound to be 64,000 cases. That's where this orange line would head up or head to if we allowed it to model more. So if we did like 100 more days, it'll eventually get to 100,000. Let's go back to just 50, and I change it to 80,000. Now the number changed just a little bit. It's down to 63,000, but it's very close to the original. And if we drop it under 60,000, say to 50,000, so I'm not going to allow it to the L to be over 50,000. We can see that it found during its optimization routine, it found it to be 50,000. So the curve is still going up, but not going up quite as high. So we can see how there's a very strong influence already. If we lower it to say 40,000, we get an even lower. The maximum is at 40,000. If we put it to 30,000, interestingly, we get a near perfect fit here, right at 27,000. Now this just happened to fit it perfectly, and of course we don't know what the maximum will be beforehand. So in reality and in practice, we will never be able to come up with these curves like this until after the fact. But the point is, on August 1st, there's just no way to know where that maximum is. So regardless, this section is about how this L max has great influence on the trajectory of the curve, and if there is a way to possibly get a good idea of where it will end up, that can help us get better curve fits.